Hi guys, and welcome to another episode from Sportsian. So before we start anything, we would request everyone, each one of you, to wear masks, maintain social distancing, and if it is possible, please stay at home. Uh, please do go out only if it is necessary. And people who are in that stage, please wear your mask. Please maintain your social distancing. We hope you're all safe and sound. Uh, and with that, we'll start our today's video. So with me is Vignesh. So this is not our typical cricket video. This is something that is happening miles away from us. It's in the Europe and it has taken world by storm. I mean, there were parliament discussions happening in England. There was riots. There were lot many things have been going, particularly England and Spain. Hi Vignesh.
Hi, Hemant.
Yeah, so as a typical Indian, my football knowledge is limited to the Messis and Ronaldos. Could you just throw some light what this fuss is about?
Sure. So the first is actually about the formation of a league called European Super League. So the first thing that everybody should know about this is a rebel league. This is not been approved by FIFA football governing body. It's not authorized by UEFA, which is Europe's governing body. So without any approval, 12 clubs have decided to form a separate league, which is why this fuss is all about.
So Vignesh, I mean, you said that there were 12 teams in this league. So I mean, who are they exactly? The team names and what was really in it for them?
So the ESL has 20 teams. So the initial structure was there are 12 founding members. 3 more they were waiting to join, and there would be 5 teams who come based on the qualifiers. So the 12 teams are 6 teams from England, the so-called top 6, which is Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, and Arsenal. And the big 3 from Spain, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, and Barcelona. And the big 3 from Italy, AC Milan, Inter Milan, and Juventus. Now, what's in it for them is that basically, like we said, it's money. So they would be getting a joining bonus of at least 200 million is what it's reported. And going forward, based on the profit sharing, how much ever profit it garners, all 12 teams would get a major, there are 20 teams, but these 12 teams would get the major share of the profit.
Yeah, so I mean, I know that football clubs generally make a lot of money than any other normal what do you say, sporting clubs. But really, was there any necessary for this rebel league? I mean, it just I think that it just came out of blue, right?
There was a necessity according to the 12 clubs which have decided to form. So the necessity which they haven't said is money. So the thing is, JP Morgan, one of the leading investment banks in the world, they have decided to pump in 3 billion euros into this league. And the thing is, let me just explain to you what the ESL, that is the European Super League, is about, and what exactly does it do, and why these 12 clubs have decided to form it. So like I said, this is a rebel league. So the structure of this league is there are going to be 20 teams who are going to play, and the 20 teams would be separated into 2 different groups. And amongst those 10 groups, in 10 teams in each group, they would play a round robin format. So they would play all of the 10 teams in their group, and then there would be some kind of knockout and playoffs or a final, very similar to the IPL which we are having today. The most interesting thing about this league is that there is going to be no promotion or relegation. In almost all football leagues in Europe, there is a tier system. So first, for example, if it's England, it's the Premier League, the Championship, League One, and League Two. So the 3 worst teams in the Premier League would be relegated, and similarly, the 3 best teams in the second tier, which is the Championship, would be promoted. So this has been happening for over 100 years. But this separate league, it doesn't have that. So basically, it means that all the 20 teams would be playing each other every single year.
So I mean, on the out, everything looks fine. I mean, whatever you said, it looks fine. That I mean, it's a practice that's a century old, and I don't think fans were complaining or anybody was complaining. But why really? Why ESL? Why now?
Why now is a very good question. Morgan has funded 3 billion, and because of COVID, a lot of footballing clubs and boards have been affected, mainly because the fans are not allowed into the stadium. So that's a huge chunk of their revenue gone. So they desperately want money. So basically, this is a safe bet for them. The structure of this league is, like I said, there is no promotion, there is no relegation, and each team, no matter how bad they perform, is going to get some amount of money. And this is based on the fact that they are all big clubs. So basically, no matter what match happens, the viewership is guaranteed. That's how all the teams assume that they are going to get a lot of money out of this. So no matter how bad they perform, they're still going to earn some money. So that is why the ESL is. I mean, they thought that it was a good idea to have the ESL right now.
Yeah, but I believe that there was a lot of backlash as well. I mean, debates going on in Parliament. I mean, I don't think if such kind of thing has happened, Indian Parliament would take by storm. But the Britain Parliament definitely was taken by storm. Even the people, they were out on
Yes,
streets.
right. So the first thing is regarding FIFA and UEFA. Like I said, this is a rebel league, and neither FIFA nor UEFA or any of the countries' boards, like in England, there is the FA. In Spanish, there is the Spanish board. None of these, how can I say, governing bodies have given permission to organize something like this, which is why there has been so much of backlash. And all these boards have said that if these teams continue to participate or create such a league, then they would be thrown out of their domestic tournaments. For example, I'm a Chelsea fan, and if Chelsea had gone ahead with this, then Chelsea would not be playing the Premier League next year. They would not be playing the Champions League next year. They would not be playing the FA Cup, and all their trophies which they have won would be stripped from them. So we have seen this in the Olympics. If an athlete is tested positive for some banned substance, then he is stripped of his medal. It's the same thing over here. And the most important backlash that has come is from the fans. So I mean, like a normal fan, everybody would be wondering, I mean, what's wrong with the top 12 or 20 teams playing each other? The problem is the story of the underdog. So that is the most important problem here. I would like to tell you one small story. This is regarding a club called Leicester City. So they won the Premier League in 2016, but that's not the full story. Before the start of that league, they were given the odds of 5,000 to 1 to win the Premier League. Basically, it means that only once in 5,000 years would Leicester City win the Premier League. So imagine that imagine that the calendar is starting from 0 to 5,000 years. We were very lucky to be in that one particular year where Leicester City won, which was in 20. As cricket fans, also we all remember the 1980 World Cup. Why? It was not only because it was India's first World Cup, but it was because India weren't even given a chance to win that World Cup, and we bet the best team, West Indies, at that time. That's why it's so celebrated. Imagine if such story is never going to happen again. Basically, 20 teams playing each other every time, and there is no surprise over there. That was one of the biggest backlashes from the fans. And the second biggest thing is none of these clubs informed the players, informed their fans, informed their coaching staff that they're going to participate in this league. They didn't want to seek approval because it's their club, they can do anything. But that's totally all the stakeholders. I mean, I personally am a stakeholder, even though I don't have any ownership of my club. I'm still a stakeholder because I follow the team.
Yeah, so but the latest news, which I believe what the last I've heard, is like all the Premier League teams have opted out of this, all the six teams at least that I've known. So I mean, will this European Super League go forward from now on, or what are the stakeholders thinking?
That's right. The whole idea of the European Super League came crumbling down on Tuesday. So what happened is when Chelsea were about to play a league match, all the Chelsea fans protested and they blocked the Chelsea bus from entering the stadium. Inside Chelsea bus was Chelsea legend Petr Cech, who's currently the director of the club. So he had to negotiate with the fans, saying that, let us enter, we need to play the game. And he was negotiating with the fans and telling the story from his side. And immediately Chelsea's board, they decided that they wanted to back out of the Super League, and then the fans, let the team bus in. And once this news came in, Manchester City followed immediately, and very soon all the other 4 Premier League clubs also backed out, and 6 out of the 12 teams are gone now. So the other clubs, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, everybody, backed out. So that's it. That's the idea of the ESL. It came crumbling down. It doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, so I mean, all this pains, I mean, it fizzled out in a week's time, right? It just rose to fame in a second, and the next second it's down somewhere buried under the earth. I mean, that's it really worth it? Is it really worth having an ESL?
It is not. It is definitely not worth having an ESL. Let me tell you my rationale behind this. So from my side, why I'm telling it's not having worth is because if the ESL had continued, the 2 biggest repercussions were that, number one, all these major teams who are participating in the ESL will not continue in their domestic competitions. And number 2, all the players who are playing would not be able to represent their country. So just imagine, the reason all these 12 teams are big is because of the superstars they have, right? And if the superstars, the biggest goal for any superstar is that he wants to play for his country. And if that ambition is taken out from him, do you think that he's going to give his 100% in the pitch? He's definitely not going to. So the quality of the player is going to come down, which obviously means that the quality of the teams is going to come down. And basically there would be no passion for each of the players playing, and the quality of the league just drops. So only people who are willing to play for the money and not for their country. So basically all the retired people would only be willing to play in the Super League. So it's definitely a bad idea, and it would have been come crumbling down, if not now, at least a few years in time.
Yeah, so the final question, so what will the way forward for UEFA and FIFA be? Will they be making some stringent norms with the clubs now?
They definitely would be, and I won't be surprised if all these clubs are, slapped with some penalty. It may be like some points would be docked from next season. They would be starting from -12 instead of 0, or some monetary penalty. I think it's definitely going to happen, and these clubs, they wouldn't be surprised if such things happen. And some stringent norms should be put into place so that this doesn't happen henceforth. But let's see.
Yeah, thanks for that inputs, Vignesh. So I hope everybody watching this video have got some clear idea what has happened in the ESL. We just waited for everything to settle down to get it clarity, because things were changing very fast each day. So yeah, thanks for watching, and please do share and subscribe to Sportsian.